Hello everyone and welcome to our advanced Scratch session. This is the first Scratch session that Highland Tech Hub and Code Inverness are preparing. You will see myself and Pam. I'm just going to start sharing my screen so I can... Pam, I think you're still sharing, you're still presenting.
Hi.
If you'd turn off, I can share our...
There we go. Just stop sharing that.
There we
so
go.
That was a preview of the code that we'll be reviewing later on.
Exactly.
Okay.
There we go. You should be able to see the Code Club live lesson screen. And who are we? Well, my name is Anya, and we're very sorry. We're just having a few technical difficulties, but we'll be back to you in just a moment. How are you keeping, Pam?
I'm fine, Anya. Thank you. Yes, I'm looking forward to this session very much. I'm just trying to get the live chat going here and see who else is here today.
Yes, that would be great to see how many people have come to join us.
So I can see a few people there in the live channel, which is really good. Hello, everyone. I see some people are excited. Very good.
That's
good
fantastic.
That.
That's great.
Yes.
That's
so
great.
It's very good. Sorry about the technical difficulties here, guys. It won't take too long.
Not at all. What would you normally be doing on a Saturday afternoon, Pam, if you weren't live streaming?
If it wasn't live streaming, well, I mean, every Saturday is different in lockdown, isn't it? Probably be doing something around the house, I'm sure, or maybe go for a nice walk, depending on the weather. How about you?
I think the same. Usually I'm quite busy during the week, so weekend is the time just to relax, try and clean up a little bit, and stretch my legs.
Some house chores.
Exactly.
Yes.
Laundry this morning. Very exciting.
Yes. Play around with Slack. That could be a really good pastime on the Saturday. Slack, what I'm saying, Scratch.
That's great. So I believe our technical difficulties are sorted out. So thanks very much for that, Daryl. You won't see or hear Daryl today, but he's a very important part of this live broadcast. He's on the video and audio feed. As for myself, you'll see two mentors. I'm Anya, and with us today is Pam. We're both in Inverness, but we believe that we have people from outside Inverness and the Highlands joining us today. I don't know, Pam, if you can see on the feedback where people are from.
Where people are from? No, I can't actually. No, I'm really sorry. So where are all you guys from? I can see a lot of names here coming up. Could be that there's people there that's not from the Highlands or Inverness. So if you want to tell us where you're from, big welcome to everybody.
Great, welcome. Yeah, so this is our first advanced Scratch lesson, and we are going to be looking at reviewing things today. So it's not going to be a very difficult lesson. We didn't know as well how many people, what ages would be coming along and seeing us. So we've tried to pitch it just at a general review of all the functionality of Scratch. And we're aware that this can be for any age, people of any age, but we think that most of the people coming on will be between the ages of 7 and 11. So if you're younger than that or older than that, you're very welcome. If you've actually not done Slack before, you're also very welcome, but just bear in mind it might be a little bit difficult for you. If you are finding it difficult today, no worries. We also have a beginner Scratch session on a Wednesday that goes from 2 to 3 as well. That will be up on our YouTube channel for viewing afterwards. and you're very welcome to join that. Or and don't feel, if you can't follow us very well, don't worry about that. You will be able to just learn what you can in peace, and then come back to us when you're ready. If, on the other hand, you find it too easy, don't worry. We'll be ramping up the difficulty after this week, and we'll be doing some more and more advanced things. We're open to any feedback that you have when you have it, and we're delighted to hear from you. So please let us know in the chat what your feedback is and what you'd like to be doing in future lessons. Okay. For any parents out there, just to let you know, myself and Pam are STEM ambassadors, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that if you're interested. But we're always looking for more parent volunteers, so please get in touch if you're available. And we're also happy to hear any suggestions or welcome. So I'll just move on to our next slide. So the first slide, we did say advanced Scratch, but we thought, well, that could cover quite a wide range of people. So if you wouldn't mind going to a poll, clicking on or this link, it should be, I think, up in the YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken, in the video description. So you should be able to see that there. And if you could just answer how much you've used Scratch before. And we're just going to play some music while you answer that poll, and we'll come back to you in a minute. That's a minute. That's great. Okay. So let's just see. It just occurs to me that I have no idea how to view this poll. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to push this over.
Well, it's very good that this isn't an advanced poll session then, is it?
No, exactly. So I'm just trying to share that. I'm sorry, I've actually found that, but oh, and I've closed it. So actually, half of the people have said they've used it 1 or 2 times, and the rest, half of people have said lots. So for those of you who are who have used it lots, you might find this a bit easy. It's just a review kind of session, and to see to try a few things out. And cover some things that you may have missed if you've been tinkering with it for a long time. But if you have only used it 1 or 2 times, it shouldn't be too difficult, except towards the end. So we'll just move on to the next. So how we're going to work this lesson. The first step, we're going to go through some code, and we'd ask you to watch and listen. Then next, we'll be working with some code, so you'll get a chance to download and then work with things. And afterwards, we can take any questions that you have. But if you do have questions at any point going through this, please let us know, because we will be able to answer those. Pam is monitoring that just now. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind going to Scratch, those of you who have used it before, so that should be everybody, you should know how to get to Scratch. Then if you go to projects and then using 10015,857, you'll be able to get to Paint with Gobo. So we'll just give you a minute to pull that up. So Pam, while they're pulling that up, would you be able to share your screen?
Yes, I shall do that.
I will just stop sharing mine.
So. There you go. There you should see it, Paint with Gobo.
Excellent, Pam. So if you could make your screen a little bit larger, the
code part.
The actual, if you make the stage larger just now. Your
This
code
one.
space, yes. We can just have a quick look at how this goes. So if you run this, you can see, maybe Pam, would you like to talk us through what he's doing?
What it's doing here is creating a trail full of beautiful colors, and it keeps changing. And then when I press the space bar, it changes sprites. And we can do it again. And here we can stop it, and then we can clear the tablet again. And we can do that again, and just, you can maybe create some letters. I'll see if I can create a P there. My name. There we go. And that's it. Really doesn't do very much, but it's a very good example of something that requires a bit of coding. So that's what we're going to look at today. How do you create something like this?
Exactly. So I think, Pam, you've added a few extra things. If you could take those away.
Yeah, they're not in here at the moment. Or here, actually.
Yes. Okay, that's great. Okay. So thanks for that, Pam. So Pam, can you have a look at where it says on your canvas, on your code area? Can you change set size instead of to 50%? If we change it to 100%? And what do you think, Pam, will happen there?
It's going to increase in size. As you can see, I've already clicked on the flag to start the program, and it's a lot bigger than it was before. So I'll stop that. And then we can see the effect if I change that back to 50%. Clear this and do that again. See, now it's half the size.
Yes, exactly. So that may seem maybe not to be such a big change, just a changing from 50 to 100, but it actually makes a big difference in the way it looks, even though it acts the same. And Pam, if you go down and you take out stamp, that's right. How do you think that will change things?
I think it's not going to leave a trail because it doesn't leave a stamp every time that it moves a few steps. So we'll go and have a look at that.
I think you're right. And you're exactly right. So it does everything the same, except it doesn't leave a copy of itself every time it stops. Would you like to put that back, Pam? You can see. Okay. If you go down to the next one where it says move 5 steps, would you put in 25 instead? What do you think that might do?
Right, I'll just give people looking at home a little moment to think about that. What do you think the effect would be of that? Then if you want to put some comments in there, I'll run it in the meantime. I don't want to make this too long, but there we go. So it jumps forward a lot faster. So what it's still doing now, it goes forward 25 paces in one go. So it kind of goes a lot faster. So yeah. I'll demonstrate that as well. If I just change it again to something, say 5, now it will go a lot slower because it takes a little step at a time.
Exactly. So you can stay ahead of it now more easily.
Yes.
So if it's chasing you, if you want to make a game, you can see how fast you go will make a big difference. What do you think then, Pam, if we change the color effect by a number different to 5? Do you think it will make a big difference? Apologies everyone. We're having issues with the...
Is my screen gone blurry?
Screen. Yes. I think it might be best, Pam, if we reconnect. Yes.
Sorry about that, guys. Does that look a lot better again?
It does, actually. Yes.
Yeah. So as you can see, there's a lot more settings here that we can change. So for example, what Anya was saying just earlier, change the color effect. If we just change that number, change it to say, that would probably make quite a big change from the...
Let's see.
We'll see what that does. So instead of a gradual pink going slowly to red, slowly to blue, it's more like primary colors almost, isn't it? So
a bit like a rainbow. Yes. Rainbow.
Yeah. Yes. It's beautiful though, isn't it? Quite
exactly.
nice. But you can see what these changes are. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so maybe we can have a look at the turn. If we change the degrees of the turn, how will that affect it?
Let's see. So as you can see from this, a lot about coding is that once you have the basic of something, you can make changes and detail it just by trial and error, really, and look at the effect of it. As long as you have the code right there, you can just play around with it.
Exactly. As we all know now, it's important in our daily work. It's important to test things and see how they work before you put them up, and then after as well, from the point of view of the user. So the person who's going to be playing, if you draw an animation or draw a game, code a game, the person who is using it at the end of the day, they should find it attractive and interesting to work with. Okay, so Pam, if you wouldn't mind having a look at, if you wouldn't mind stopping your sharing screen, and I'll share mine because I think we have time for another quiz.
Okay.
It's going to be another poll. So I will just share my screen
now. Sorry, it's taking some time to go from screen to screen here, guys. But if you have any questions in the meantime, or tell us what you would like to know about this. We'll get the quiz up.
Absolutely. If you have any questions at any point, just pop them into the chat. So what will happen if we point towards the clear button? Will the sprite go towards the clear button? Will it go to the clear button and stop? So will it go towards the clear button and keep spinning, or will it go towards the clear button and stop? So I'm just going to stop my screen and go back to Pam. And if you have a look at the poll, you can answer that for us, and then we'll show you. So Pam, if you wouldn't mind switching back on, we'll show exactly where the clear button is on that code.
Here is the clear button. So if you can see my cursor.
Exactly.
If you then have a look at this code, what do you think will happen?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, the clear button code.
Yes. So if you go...
might be useful if you see that.
No, you were on the right one actually, Pam. You were. If you go to choose the sprite, you were on the right one.
To see what happens with the tail.
Point towards, instead of mouse pointer, if you go to mouse pointer. And switch. Okay, apologies, that's gone very poor quality. Pam, if you want to stop and start again, unfortunately that seems to be the only way to improve the quality of the share. Sorry guys. It'd be great to hear from you as well, how you're finding it, if you're able to follow us, if you're finding it too easy, that's very good for us to know. Or if you're finding it just right, that would be good to know as well. Yes, so if you point towards the clear button instead of the mouse pointer, that's our...
It's still on a very slow trail, but this is what happens when you go to clear. It doesn't stop.
Yep, so Pam, if you go to point towards the mouse pointer on your code.
Yep.
And put the clear button. Okay, so has everybody answered in the poll? Okay, so far only one person said it would go towards the clear button and stop. Everybody else said the sprite will go towards the clear button but continue spinning. So that's what actually happened. It's gone towards the clear button, but it hasn't stopped. So this is a very important idea in code, that you tell something to start in code and it just keeps going until it either falls over or you tell it to stop. But it will just go, it will keep going and going and going and going until you tell it to stop. That's something that's very easy for us to forget as humans, because we need to, if we're going on a trip, we don't keep going once we've got there, we stop. And we very often have other needs that we have to stop for a sandwich or stop for something to eat. Okay, thanks for that, Pam. If you wouldn't mind then going to stop your screen sharing for a moment, and I'll share another quiz.
Okay.
Thanks very much for that, Pam. So we have another quiz now. So to make the sprite pop, to say pop once you change costume, what should you do? Go to the sounds and have four possible actions. Four possible actions there. The first, add play sound pop until done, after change color effect by 5. Add start sound pop after next costume. Add start sound pop before next costume. Add start sound pop before next costume. And add stop all sounds after next costume. So if you go to the straw poll, please, and answer to that, I will stop sharing. And we'll just have a quick look at that on Pam's screen. You can see that. Excellent. Unfortunately, Pam, I think you'll have to stop sharing and start again. It's not great quality, unfortunately.
I'll try something else. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if we can change something here. Don't know what's happening with the quality, but we'll try it again.
Okay, so, oh, that's great. Okay. Great, thanks, Daryl. Pamela, if you can go to sound, I can see that 3 people have answered, but 1 person isn't. That person may be struggling with the sound, adding a sound. So, where we have play sound pop until done, you have gold here, but you can change that to pop. And then there is start sound pop.
They will both have very different effects, of course.
So if you put that, if you put, oh yes, we'll also need stop all sounds as well. But if you put that one in, Pam.
Yep.
And play that for us, then we can see what's going to happen here.
Oh.
So you'll have to
change this back to the mouse pointer.
Yes.
So it's going to follow the mouse.
Yes.
Here, and I'm going to press tab.
Exactly.
To change the sprite.
Very good. Very good. So that is, yes, the correct answer. Very good. What would happen? Would it make a big difference, Pam, if you put start sound pop after next costume?
Well, have a look.
What do you think?
I don't think it will make a difference.
And why?
What does everybody else think?
Yes, that would be good to know. Who thinks there will be a difference and who thinks there won't?
So there we go. That did not make any difference.
Yes. And why do you think that is, Pam?
Well, they're both attached to the same event. So as soon as the costume changes, then there's a sound, and whether the sound is just before the costume changes or just after is not noticeable. unless you build in a delay.
That's great. And how would you build in a delay?
Well, you could say you would have to wait for a certain amount of seconds. Let's see if we can find that one. Put that in the wrong one.
That's in control, or is it in control? If you scroll down, you'll be able to see in your color palette.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Yes, there you go. Yes, so if you run that again, we can hear if there's a difference.
So we're changing the sprite here, and then a couple of seconds later, it says pop. So if you want that kind of effect, then you would have to make sure that the sound is after the next costume.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, Pam. Ooh, unfortunately, your screen has gone again.
Really?
Maybe I might just take over. Hopefully that now.
Not sure why it's doing that, but
Yes, no, well, this is one of those things on TV. Okay. Live presentations.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's great. Okay, so we have just looked at a few different things, and we wanted to have a little bit of an exploration there. I think, Pam, you had prepared some different changes to do, so maybe you could give me some directions now.
Okay, yes, that's fine. Can I see your screen? I'm thinking, yes. There we go. So the ones that we prepared earlier is, for example, we could see if we can put a counter in there.
Right, yes, so that was it, a counter.
One second.
So
if we do that right from the start, we would start with an event that says, when the flag is clicked.
Okay. And what would happen if I didn't use that then?
Well, it depends on what you would use instead, but you would have to have a trigger. You would have to have something that says, when do you want to start counting? So that's what you're doing there. So you could put it anywhere in the text. You could say, have an if statement. If this happens, then we start counting. We could have all sorts of triggers, but in this case, we want it to count right from the start. So we're using the same start event.
Okay. That's great. So you had
Yes, and I think it was in the control section or a variable, actually. We need to set a variable. And it's in the variables section on the left-hand side, of course.
So we need to make a variable, or?
We need to create a variable for this. We call it stamp count, for example.
Oh, goodness, all right.
We'll do that for this sprite only. So we only want to do it for this trail.
Great. And if I don't like it up here, Pam, what can I do? Let's say I prefer it down at the bottom.
Well, you can just drag it. You can drag it down to the bottom if you want.
Can I drag it? Is there another way to do it?
There is also a way that if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see the stamp count. in a rounded box, and next to it is a tick box. And if you untick that, you will not see it in your screen. So you can still use the stamp count for anything that you want, but you wouldn't be able to see it in the screen. So we'll put it there.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that.
So the next step would be that if we look down in the variables there, we're going to set it. So we're going to set the stamp count to 0. That's what we start with at every start. Now we want to find a trigger that actually counts every step. So what do you think we would use for that? So there's nothing obvious there. So I would say anytime that this sequence goes, and everything that's in the loop forever, at the end of that, we would want to have a trigger that adds a count. So we'll broadcast something from there.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay, so we need to broadcast in here.
Yes.
Okay. Is that a control as well? No.
So you could call that anything, call it stamped or something like that. So every time it loops through there, what will happen is it does all the things that it does. It does the 5 steps, and then it changes the color, and it follows the mouse point and all those things. And then at the end, it broadcasts that it's done the stamp. So here in our new little function, we're going to add a step that says, well, actually, it's going to be a new event, a new trigger.
Okay.
So that would be when I receive a broadcast in events. Exactly. And what we then want to do is every time it receives that broadcast, it wants to increase the stamp count variable by 1. So in the variables section, we'll find a nice bit of code that we can use for that. And it's called change stamp count. Well, we need to select stamp count by 1. That's exactly it. And that's it. And then you can either tick that little box that we were talking about earlier, or you could now add another box that says show variable on the screen. Yeah, or just tick the box. There we go. So what will happen if we run it? See if it works.
Well, I'm hoping that it will count up every time we make a move. It will count up 1. So it should count up pretty quickly. We'll see. Oh, it is counting up pretty quickly.
Excellent.
So they count up pretty good. Yes. So we can see that this is something that you can do. Anything that you want to do quickly and repeat. Computers are really good for. As we got to 550 stamps. If we tried to make 550 stamps by hand, it'd take us a long time, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay, so that's a fantastic example there, Pam. Let's say we want to add a backdrop. How would we do that, do you think?
Oh, the backdrops, yes. If you move there to the right-hand side underneath the display screen, you can choose right in the bottom on the right, you can choose loads of backdrops that you want. So like, yeah, just click on that one.
Let's see, what do we want? We take a desert.
Whatever takes your fancy.
Whatever you like. Exactly. Okay, that's perfect. Then if we wanted to add some voice to it, we have some sounds here, but we've only got one. If we wanted to add a a message, a voice message, how could we do that?
So right, we'll go back to the code.
Mm-hmm.
There are some speech to, what's it called?
The extension.
There it is, yes.
Yes. Yes, so it would be interesting to know if people have used these before. So drop us a message if you've used those before, because we can probably add some of those into our code palette and work with them in future lessons. Okay, so if we want to change, what should I say, Pam, when I change my costume?
Yay!
Okay. So when do you think that will, if I've said on next costume, it should happen at what point do you think?
Every time you change the costume, it will say something.
Yay.
Could you hear that, Pam?
Yay.
I did, yes. Yay.
Doesn't sound like a very excited yay.
I'm just going to say there's a certain lack of excitement there, but never mind.
Let's see if we can.
So I'm just checking the questions here. See if is there anything, any suggestions that we could add to the code here? What would you like to see coded?
Yay. Yay.
That's a bit more excited. Oh, I think, Pam, you said that it sounded quite Dutch. Let's see if that works.
Yay. 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 Yay.
Oh, okay, sorry, I'm being silly now.
Yeah, slightly more excited. But...
Oh, I forgot to put my code. Maybe it won't work now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Did that sound Dutch to you, Pam?
It sounded the same to me, to be honest.
Okay. Oh.
So.
Yay. Yay.
Okay.
Have we had any messages through, Pam?
I can't see any suggestions or requests for coding different things into here. As you can see, it's there's lots of possibilities, and we would like to go a bit deeper into the code. Maybe next time, maybe we can come up with questions. Let us know if this was too easy or too far. Just waiting for some suggestions to come in here, but no, can't see any at the moment, Anya.
Okay. Okay, I think we didn't really go over very much of the elements of the screen and everything. I think you probably, if you've been able to answer the questions, you probably have a pretty good idea of that. But for sure, let us know. We haven't really gone into any depth on the different aspects of what you can do, but we will obviously be reviewing those as we need them in future sessions. I'm just going to stop sharing the screen and then share back my presentation. So our presentation should be back up. You should see your turn. So what you can do there next is remix this project or create your own, something along similar lines. You can show us just how good you are with this, and that will give us a great idea of how best to pitch this course, these sessions for you. And once you have a project, I'd say please share it with us. I've created a studio on Scratch. If you search for Code Inverness and make sure it's capital C, capital I, you because if you search small c, small I, you won't get it, or I couldn't find the other one. And if you wouldn't mind posting to that that project, the advanced Scratch, I might just take that and put that into the notes for you. Okay, so to review what we've done today, we've reviewed Scratch and many of the elements. We've looked at how code behaves, how you think code will behave, how you want it to behave. If you want it to do something else, how will you make it do what you want? We started with a piece of code already. We pulled it apart and we changed it. We added to it. So now it's over to you. What you can do now is add different actions, sounds, backgrounds, create your own project from the start if you'd like. That would really give us a good idea of where you are. And please make sure that you share to our studio. The last thing we'd like to highlight today is there is an international event called Moonhack. Some of you may have heard of it already. It was definitely it's an international thing. I cannot remember offhand how many people took part last year, but I believe it was quite a few. We're thinking about doing a Moonhack together, ourselves in Inverness, and if anyone would like to join us, please let us know. You can do this yourselves, either potentially with your parents or by yourselves, but let us know if you're interested and we'll give you more information about that. But you can go anyway to moonhack.com for that. So I'd just like to say that's all for today. From myself, have you any final messages, Pam?
Well, I just get a message in here from Gideon, and he's asking if we could do other things than Scratch as well to teach. I think he says he uses Roblox Studio and a plugin called Studio Plus. Well, that sounds very exciting. I haven't actually used any of those myself. Don't know if anybody else has used those, but we can certainly look into that for you. I think there's a reply here already, actually. It must be Daryl answering to that. Yeah, so we're definitely doing other languages. We might be doing a Python course soon as well. So we'll keep you posted, and just watch out for the newsletter to come out to tell you more about the languages that we'll be teaching next. And so I hope you enjoyed this one.
Exactly. Thanks so much, Pam, and thanks so much, Daryl, for running the video desk. Thank you to all of you for joining us, and it would be great to see you back again. Keep your suggestions coming in. We will have a look at Roblox and we'll let you know about doing other things. But for sure, we'll continue with our Scratch Advanced sessions. And listen, take care, and we'll see you next time. Back at this time next week. All the best now.
Bye, everybody.